Hello everyone. So in this video we will develop a plugin, and this plugin will develop for the post operation. So before I proceed to develop the plugin, let me tell you my scenario which I am going to achieve here. The scenario is I have entity called a student, and for this entity I have couple of fields. The fields are cycle and semester, and the course applied for. These are mandatory fields. So when I create the record of this entity, then based on this cycle, which cycle we have selected, I will be creating the new record of the student course, and I will associate and display inside this tab. Inside this tab I have the subgrid. Inside this subgrid it will be displaying. So inside this subgrid I am displaying only the associated records. So on the create of this, when this create of this student record has been successfully created, done, then I am going to create the record of another entity, that is a student course, and that will happen on the post operation. So let me tell you the entity involved in this operation. So here are these some entities. So in this three entities are involved: a student course, and the subject. So on the create of this student entity, I will be registering the plugin, and on the post operation, when this record is created, then I will use the GUID of that created record to create the record of a student course. And you can see, to create the student course, I have the on the form I have the lookup of that student entity and the subject entity. So what I will be doing is that I will use the created record ID to make this lookup, to fill this lookup, and I will query through the subject. Subjects are nothing but the subjects are the course which will be enrolled for the first semester a student based on the cycle what it has selected. So we have the cycle field here. Inside the course details we have the cycle. So based on the cycle there are certain course which is subjects configured, and we will be querying these subjects, and we will set up for this subject field. So we will create this record on the post operation, and then inside the student, inside this tab, it will be viewed there. So this is the scenario, and we will be writing this scenario on the post operation, and we'll see that. So before proceed, let me tell you my solution which already I have developed. So this plugin already I have built when I was building the auto number plugin for pre-operation on the application entity. So this is already built, and for the same auto number plugin I register for the student entity also. That is also on pre-operation and create method, create message. So this is also working fine. So already I have created some couple of students. You can see I can go here students, and you can see this is the auto number format of the student record. And while creating this record of the student course, I will be setting this number student course here, where this one, and hyphen the subject what we have. So whatever the p cycle, suppose the cycle is p cycle, then whatever the p cycle subjects are there, these subjects will be added, and this we can see inside this subgrid of that, inside the subgrid of the in this tab student course. So that we will be doing. So along with this, let me add my another CS file for the post operations. So even though we can do the coding inside the same CS file, but I wanted to show you from the scratch, so let me add the another CS file here. So let's take the class file, and I'll take the entity name as a student slash, this is for post, and on the create message we will register. So we'll take this name, and since already I have added the reference here, that xrm.sdk, I will import here, I will use that here. So using microsoft.xrm.sdk, and then since I will query through these subjects which are configured here with the subject entity, this one subject entity, so I will query through that. So I will be building the query expression, right? So I will then I have to use the SDK dot query. So using microsoft.xrm.sdk dot query. Okay, and now let's implement the iPlugin interface. iPlugin, we will implement it. Okay, now we have to make this class as public, so that this is our plugin. So public and this is now our plugin, this class. So let's get rid of this. So first of all, we have to get the context. So it will be iPlugin execution context. So context, will take the name as context, that is equal to, we have to cast it. So iPlugin execution context, we will get from the service provider. This is the input parameter from inside this execute method. So we'll take the service provider, and dot get service will have one function here inside that. I will take the type of the iPlugin execution context. And once we have context, let's check the plugin we have registered, it is for the entity or not. So for that we have let's take the if condition here. So if context dot input parameters dot contains the target, means it is for entity target, and the context dot input parameters of target is entity, then means our plugin has registered on this entity. Then we'll get the services, then also tracing service. So let's get the tracing service first. So tracing service, then let's give the name as tracing service, and that will equals to the iTracing service, and that will be from service provider dot get service, and that is type of the iTracing service. Okay, and then we have to create the organization service. So before that we will create the organization service factory. So organization service factory, that is service factory, and that is equals to I organization service factory, and we will get from the service provider dot get service, and that is type of I organization service factory. And from the service factory we will create the organization service. So it is I organization service, so name it as a service, that equals to the service factory dot create organization service, and it will be created under the context of the user who has logged in into the CRM. So context of user ID. So after that we have got the service and testing services, let's check whether our plugin is registered for the create message or not, and the stage is post operation or not. So let's check that. So if the context dot message name to lowercase to lower here, if not equals to the create, and the context dot the stage, means the operation where we have registered. So if it is not equals to 40 is the stage number for the post operation. So if it is not equal to 40, then we will return from this. If it is there, then we will start our logic. So first of all we need to get the GUID of the created student record. So that will be present inside the context output parameter. So from that we will extract the GUID of that created record. So let's take the GUID, and that is target entity ID, I can say that name, and that will equals to the context dot output parameters. Inside this output parameter will have the field as ID, and we'll cast it to a string, will convert to a string, and from this string will pass that as a GUID. So GUID dot parse, and that will be a string. So let's add here. So we got the target ID, that the GUID of the created student, but when we will create the record of this, we have to set the name of the that is auto number which we are getting here, right? With this inside this name you can see these auto numbers we have to append inside this entity, right? So we have to query back again to this student record, student entity, to get this name field here. So let's take that one. Since already I have the GUID, now I can use this simple retrieve method here with the schema name. So I have this service here, so service dot retrieve, and you can see the retrieve is giving the entity as a result, but it is expecting the entity schema name, GUID, and the column set. So let's take the schema name. So dnlb, the schema name is dnlb underscore the student, that is nothing but you can find from solution. So that is this one. So that is student This is the schema name of the entity. So let me copy this. I'll replace that. Okay, and then here inside that it is expecting the GUID. So already we got the GUID. So that is target entity ID, and then the column set. So it is new column set, and the column set I need is since we have to check this also, like we are creating the new record, we have to check inside the course details tab which cycle they have selected while creating this record, right? So I have to check, I have to take this field also in the result. So I want the entity dnlb underscore the name and the dnlb underscore the cycle. Okay, I want this two field only. So while taking the new column set, don't try to give true most of the time, because that will give lot of results, lot of attributes in the result. So that is not good practice. So try to give those columns only which you want in the result, which you want to query with, which you want to use inside. So this is what I need. So the result of this one is nothing but the entity. So let me take the entity, and I'll give the name as target entity. You can give as per your convenience, but I'm taking this as a target entity. Okay, now let's check if the target entity is not null. So if target entity is not equals to null, then I will proceed my logic further. So first of all, from this target I have to check the which cycle it is selected. So let's take that variable for this. So c integer cycle, and that will be equals to the and target entity. And from this we have taken the dnlb underscore cycl cycle, and this is nothing but option set. So we have to get the option set, so we can use the option set metadata. It is present inside the xrm.sdk. So it is option set value, option set. This is the metadata, and it will be giving from this for this option set. So let me take this wrap here, and we can, after doing this, you will get the value field here. So value, so it will give you the value of the option set which you have selected. For this option set, when you're selecting, for the respective p cycle will have the integer value, right? So it will give me that. So I'll take that one. Best also, before that, let me cast it to the proper int here. So let me take the int here. Okay, and then based on this what cycle it is selected, I will be creating the record of student course. So let's take the switch statement here. So switch based on the cycle, and let's take the case here. So case, it is the, so we have to compare this with that option set what we got. So what I have done is, inside this solution already I have added the one constant folder here. Inside this constant folder I have taken the constant class here, and inside this constant class I have added the enums. You can see for the semester, for the 1 to 8 semester, and what is the respective value is there, I have taken up here. And same thing I have done for this cycle, p cycle, c cycle, and both this is the option set respective value. You can see for the p cycle the respective value is nothing but this one, 999, and then 7 zeros, 7 or 6 zeros. So this is the respective int value. So this is I have configured inside the constant value. However, if you want, you can put that inside this same class, but the good practice is keep those constant into this separate file and in the separate folder, so that your constant will be maintained in the separate CS file, and from there you can reference inside your with the plugin class or wherever you are writing. If you workflow, then you can reference there. So that is why I have taken the constant class here, and from that I will be using inside my post create CS file. So let me compare that. If the cycle is equals to the I have the constant dot constant, so I will get the namespace. You can see the namespace of this file here. It is nothing but till it is same the solution name, but after that it is constant. So first I'll get this constant, then the class name. So on constant dot constant, so this constant dot constant, this class name, then inside that I have the cycle as the enums, and then dot the p cycle. If it is p cycle, then I will write the logic for the p. So let's take the break here, and then take the another case. So case constant dot cycle, dot the C cycle. If it is for C cycle, then I will write the logic for the C cycle. So before that, since you can see here it is giving the error, but still it is because we have not cast it to the int, because cycle is type of int, and here it is giving the different, it is not able to find out the appropriate matching, so that is why it was giving here. So I have to cast it to the int here. So again for this also I will cast it. Okay, so done. Now inside this will write some logic. So let me do one thing. I'll create this separate function for to do the creation of that entity. So here inside this, below this function execute method, here I will be writing the another function. So let's take the private type. Private, it will not return anything, and it will create the student course, and inside that we will write the logic. So let's take some parameter here. First of all, to call the create service, create operation from the service, so we have to pass the organization service. So let's take the organization service as service here. Then if you want to trace any log, then we have to pass the tracing service. So let's take the trace here, or tracing service. Then we have to pass the entity ID. So that is GUID, and that is target entity ID, and then the entity itself, that is target entity. Why I want to pass this is target. Let me take this target entity. Why we need this? Because inside this target entity I have the name field here, right? So that name field I will be appending here while giving the name field for this entity. That is all I pass. If you want, then you can extract the name here only, and then you can pass as separate to this function. So, but let me take this as entity itself, and then we'll take the boolean field here. Boolean, then it will be so is p cycle. So now let's take. Sorry, we already have taken this. Okay, fine. So now we'll check the what are the subjects we have. For that we have to create the query expression. So let's create the query expression first. So query expression, we are getting this because already we have imported, we have using this namespace sdk.query. Okay, so query expression will get, then name it as a QE for the subject, and that is equals to the new query expression, and inside that we'll take the entity name, that will be equals to the dnlb underscore subject. So that is the name, entity name, schema name of the subject. You can see this schema name of this entity. So this is nothing but dnlb underscore subject. I will be taking this, and the column set, which columns I want. So let's take the column set. So column set will be equals to the new column set, and what I need from this entity is for this subject we need only the name, right? For all the subject, with this name we will be appending here, right, with this course. So student name field and the subject name field will combine and will display here. So here we'll take only the name field. Let's take dnlb underscore name. So okay, and now here we'll close this. We will add the conditions now, because the condition has to be the first for the semester has to be equals to 1. Okay, and then the cycle has to be the, if it is C cycle then C, if it is P cycle then P, and then both the courses. You can see some subjects are applicable to both the semesters. So sorry, both the cycle, P cycle and C cycle. So it has to be appear in both the cycle, whatever we select, right? So let's add that condition first. So we have the query subject, query expression for the subject dot criteria dot add condition, and here we'll take the schema name as dnlb underscore the cycle. Let's take a cycle. Let's take the semester first, and that will be equals to condition operator dot equal, and then the option set value. What is the option set, respect option set value for the subject, so for the semester. So you can see in the constant already I have taken the semesters here, right? And this is for the semester 1. This is the option set value. So we'll take this condition. So here we have the constants class, then dot the semester dot should be the semester first. Okay, and let's cast this also to int here. So int, fine. So this is one condition added. The another condition will be based on the what p cycle we are passing. If it is true, then it is p cycle. If it is false, then it is c cycle. So let's take if the is p cycle. If it is p cycle, then the query expression for subject dot add criteria dot add condition, and then the so here it will be dnlb underscore the cycle, and here the condition operator dot equal. So instead of equal, I'll take the in. I'll take in because I have to query for both two conditions. One for the cycle, one for the C cycle or P cycle, then both. So it both will be applicable to C cycle and P cycle also. So I'll take the in condition, not the equals to in. Then here we'll take the constant dot the cycle dot the if it is p cycle, so p, then again constant dot cycle dot it is both. Okay, and let me cast it to the int here, int, and same thing for here. Okay, so it is done. So we have added. Now same thing we'll do for the C cycle. So it is else, and then we'll do for the C cycle. Copy this, we'll paste here. Okay, and instead of here P, we'll make it as a C cycle, and the condition will be same for the both the cycle, both will be applicable for both the cycle here. So C cycle also. So it is done. Condition we have added. Now get the result from this. So we'll use the service dot retrieve multiple. It will give me the result as entity collection, and it is expecting the query, right? So which we have built for the subject. So we'll pass that, and let's take the result inside the entity collection here. So let's take entity collection and name it as EC of the subject. Okay, and that is equals to. Now if we check if the EC subject dot entities dot count, if it is greater than 0 or not equals to 0, then only we'll proceed, right? So if not equals to 0, then we'll check for each entity. So let's take the for each loop here. For each take entity as entity in the EC entity collection of subject dot entities. We'll loop through each entities inside that. So meaning that whatever the result we got now, with those respective results, we will be creating the record of this student course, right? That is why I'm taking the for each here. Now let's take to create the entity, we have to take the entity here, right? So entity equals to create student course, and that equals to the new entity, you can see, and we can pass the schema name here. We have different overload method here. One of it is passing the entity schema name. So here we have the entity schema name we can get from this here, entity schema name, and this is the schema name of that entity. So let me copy this, and we'll go here and let's paste here. Okay, so for we are creating the entity of this one. We'll set the attributes of this. So first of all, we'll set the subject here. Sorry, first of all, we'll set the student here. So let me copy. Open the details of this field, and this is nothing but lookup. So this is the schema name of that. So we'll take this schema name. We'll say pass here. That will be equals to, since it is a lookup. So this is a lookup of the student record, and this is the schema name of the student entity. So it should be the entity reference of this entity, right? And with the GUID what we have got. So let's take this one. So it is a new entity reference, and it's my mistake. So it is reference, and we have the different overload method here. You can see one of it is the logical name with the ID. So I will be using that one. So double quote the schema name, and then the GUID is nothing but what we have passed here, that is target entity ID. So target entity ID, Okay, and again another parameter for that field and for that entity. So another is the subjects, right? We'll copy this, sorry, we'll open this and we'll copy the schema name of that. So the schema name here, that is equals to the new again entity reference. This is also a lookup, so entity reference, and here we'll pass the schema name. So to get that, you can go here in the details. You can see this is also a lookup type, and this is for the subject. So let me copy this subject here. So a schema name of the entity. So copy this, and we'll come here, paste here, and it is expecting the GeoID. So since already we are looping through the result set of the subject, so inside this entity with the variable we have taken, it will have the ID. So we'll use that one. So entity.id we can pass. Okay, that's it. And also finally the name field. Close this and this name field. So it will be combination of the name from this and name from this. So it is the create course here, and that is dnlb underscore name, and that will be equals to the, since it is a string field, so we have to add that two strings here. So first of all, it will be from the subject. So we already, that is why we have passed here the target entity. Inside this target entity already we are retrieving from the single retrieve here, right, the name field here. So we'll take that. So here this is target entity, that is dnlb underscore name and dot to a string, then plus, let's add some dash here, and then to separate the two combination, and then we will have the entity. Since inside this result set of this entity collection, you can see already I have added the the name field also for this also, right? So this we will be using here for this. So that is nothing but dnlb underscore the name, and then we'll make this also to a string. So now we have set. So once it is done, let me create the entity. Create this entity. So service dot create, and we'll use this create student course. So it is done. So let me add some, since we didn't use the trace, let me add some trace message here. So you can say here, so tracing service dot trace, it is saying executing the creation of student course. Okay, then can see one more thing here, or you can go here, well, query expression, and you can add some here retrieval. So tracing service dot trace, and you can add the message like total uh, subject retrieved, and you can say plus, that is the ec subject dot entities dot count. We can add, we'll display that how many subjects we got for this and for the condition. And inside this also we can add some trace log. So we can say here the, so you can say the tracing service dot trace, and that is the target entity retrieved. You can add some message. So you can inside this, now here I will call this method now which we have created. So let me copy this and paste here, and the parameter will pass this service as a first, then we have the tracing service, so we have tracing service second parameter. Now we have the GUID, so it is target entity ID, and then we have the target ID, there's the entity, and then it is p cycle, yes it is p cycle, so will pass as true here. And same thing we will do for the C cycle. So but only thing is, we instead of true we have to make this as a false. Okay, so it is done. So I believe the plugin development is completed. So let me format this. So format this, I can tell you some tools. You can go to the extension, and here manager you can download the some formatter, and the popular one is, you can see the code formatter here, and this is using the style cop format. So when you install this, If you cannot install through this extension, then you can go to the more information here and you can download this, and while installing it you have to close this Visual Studio. You can download and install that here, and once you install this you can go to your CS file, right click on that, and then you have the format code here. When you use this, it will format the code particular. You can see it will rearrange the namespace. Also it will add the comments to your functions, that will be very useful while reading the function, and also it will remove the unwanted using statement if you are using. So we'll see that. So let's wait. Okay, you can see it is added. Let me save this again, and let me format this again, code format. Now you can see how I had when I started, how it was. Now after giving the format command, it has formatted with the proper comment. You can see for this function what are the input parameters is having, for this function what are the input parameters, and details of that it will automatically set for you. So if you are writing the plugin for your project, you can use that tool for your advanced comment and all. You can use that one, that is very helpful. So my code is ready now. So let me rebuild this. I can go here and I will rebuild this. So yeah, this is built. Let me copy this, and now I will use the plugin registration tool to update my plugin. So let me go here. I have opened the plugin registration tool already. I have connected to my instance here, and this is my plugin. So last time I had developed this plugin, and I will be updating that. So let me select this update, and here I'll select this and update that. You can see these are my plugins. So now recently PostGate I have added. So let me register this. So update this. One plugin will be registered. So and one will be updated. Yeah, updated successfully. So now our plugin is registered. So for this step, you can see the post create. This step is also configured here. So I had registered the previously, so it is showing me that with the same name. That is why it is there. But let me remove this, and I can show you. I can register this step, and I will show you how to register this step for my plugin. So this was the plugin post create, and for this plugin it is registered now. So let me remove this better. Then I will let me unregister this. Now you can see I have only the two plugins, which was pre-create and the application. And now let me update this assembly one more time. So let me go here and I will select all this, and here we'll register that. It was showing before that because I had for testing already I had registered that one, so it was still there. So now I removed that one. Now again I'm adding that. So after adding that, you will see that one is registered, one is updated, right? So yeah, so you can see it is recently added. For this plugin we have to register these steps. You can go to the new and you can add the, since the message is create, the primary entity will be the DNLB, the student, and then the secondary will be the none, and then the filter attributes is not required for the create, and the execution order I want to, because this one already I have given as a 1, so I can take this as 2, but still if you want you can take it as 1 because this is happening on the post operation. And the here the pipeline stage will be the post operation, and I want the plugin as a synchronous. If you want you can take it as a synchronous also, not a problem. So I want it as a synchronous. So let's register this step. Yeah, plugin step is registered. So our plugin is ready now to be tested. So let's go to the student here. Let's click the new, and let's add the mandatory field. So it is test student say 5. Okay, and then stream we can select, the line you can add, and the this part of the pin code, this already I have done in my previous video. You can check this, I have done to the JavaScript, so still it is working. You can check that video how it has been done in the JavaScript. And let's go to this course details tab, select the semester 1, and the say I want P cycle first, and this time you can select anything. Let me save this. Yeah, the record is created successful. Now let's go to this tab. You can see those 9 subject of the P cycle, it is successfully added here. So for the P cycle it is added. Now let's go and create for the C cycle. So this student, say test, it is test student, say 6, and now you can select the stream line, you can add, and then you can set up this. And now course details, let's take semester 1, and this is for C cycle, and let's take this one, information anything, and let's go general here and save. Yeah, for the C cycle it is also created, and you can see the subjects which are applicable for the C cycle chemistry, and it is working fine. So this was the plugin, guys, and in this video you would have learned how to create the plugin for the post operation, and you can utilize this. And also if you want the code of this plugin, I will put the link of the GitHub, you can download from there and you can use that. So if you have any comment on this video, you can let me know, and thank you for watching this video.